If you've been listening to the radio or watching television recently, you probably have heard the commercial where Clint Olivier, in his own words, states that clean air, clean water, and education are not rights, that they are luxuries, and that he is fine with that. This is just not true. I had Clint Olivier on my show back in November for an interview on Longbox.FM. The audio taken from my show was manipulated by medical and dental political action committees that support Clint Olivier's opponent, Joaquin Arambula. Hear it for yourself.
Republican Assembly candidate Clint Olivier caught on tape. Clint Olivier, in his own words.
You will come across different people in our society and go out in the street and people say, well, you have a right to clean water. That's a luxury item. People say, well, you have a right to an education. You have a right to clean air.
Do you feel these are rights?
I don't. There's going to be people that are listening to this right now and say, oh, that's ridiculous. What do you mean drinking water is a luxury item? And that's fine.
No, it's not fine. Education is a right. Clean water is a right. Clean air is a right. Clint Olivier is wrong.
They are right. It is not fine. The reason this ad exists is because someone cut and edited the audio to make him sound horrible. Here's the actual audio of that segment of the show. Decide for yourself if this is an appropriate representation of Mr. Olivier's views.
In the most basic sense, I mean, I would say the right is anything you don't have to ask permission for, which stems from private property ownership, property of yourself.
If you own your body.
Yeah.
If you own yourself.
You own your thoughts, you own your
right.
speech and everything else. Number 4 is healthcare a right.
Well, that's up for debate. I mean, you will come across different people in our society and go out in the street and people say, well, you have a right to clean water. You have a right to an education. You have a right to a master's degree. You have a right to clean air. You have a right to transportation.
Do you feel these are rights?
I don't. You have a right to life, liberty, and the right to own property, and everything else is a luxury item. Here in the United States, we have things like clean, safe, potable water that we can drink. That's a luxury item. Yeah. Because there's a lot of folks in this world that don't have that.
And there's a lot of work that goes involved in making clean water.
Absolutely. There's hundreds and thousands of people that bring us clean water or electricity. I mean, some people now say you have a right to free internet. I've heard that as well. No, we have a right to be free, and we have a right to live, and we have a right to own things, and we have a right to own our bodies, and everything else stems from that. In a society where we're safe from invasion and the government protects our rights. Was that like the? Was that music?
No, that was not wrap it up speech.
That was the red light.
That's
It's not the wrap it up.
And that's why we've been able to thrive here in the United States, because we have been free to pursue our dreams and to pursue.
Originally with very little government regulation and intervention.
Originally, yes.
Seems the farther we go into it, though,
yes,
the less free we become. But the next two questions were: is education a right, and is employment a right, in your opinion?
Right. Well, you know what? It's nobody has. The reason why I say that's a luxury item is because if you Bernie Sanders, for example, does he say everyone has a right to well, he says that we have a right to pre-K, so preschool through grad school. Somebody has to pay for that.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. And that's where, I like guys, like Ron Paul that
students are.
Yeah. Well, somebody's going to pay for it. And so if you've got, I think somebody added up I think there was a leftist group that added up his wish list, and it was like another
18 trillion.
18 or 19 trillion dollars.
The debt right now.
Right. And so if you have a right to something, well, I have a right to this cell phone. Well, I'm taking it from you.
Look at that. Big government just stole your phone.
Someone.
Socialist.
So
you can go get an Obama phone, though. It's cool.
And you know what? And that's fine. Good people can disagree. There's going to be people that are listening to this right now and say, oh, that's ridiculous. What do you mean drinking water is a luxury item? Well, look at the people, the children around the world that are dying because they don't have clean drinking water in their society. And so the American system of freedom has allowed folks to figure out ways to purify water and ways to engineer water systems to come to our home. And I get really stoked on America because we have this standard of living that we don't see anywhere else in the world. And so I believe that the American system of freedom has allowed people to create and to deliver these kinds of important products to us at the very bottom of society. We're the middle class, we're the working class, and we're sitting here, we're talking on radio, on the internet, we're having cold water and cold beers and energy drinks, and that's a quality of life that's unmatched anywhere else.
All of it brought to you from the free market too.
Absolutely.
And Riley's Brewing.
Thanks, Riley's.
And Riley's Brewing. Thanks, Riley's Brewing.
As you can hear for yourself, the audio used in this attack ad is a far cry from what really happened in our studio. You can hear the whole show by going to www.longbox.fm and stream or download the podcast. My reasoning for creating this video is not to support one candidate over another, but to enlighten people over the subject matter which was taken without permission, manipulated, and used to slander someone else. This is dirty politics, and it should not be the way someone gets elected to serve us in this valley. I encourage all the candidates running for Assembly to hashtag KeepItClean8031 and run a campaign that you can be proud of. For my part, I have reached out to all the candidates for State Assembly to come on my show March 30th and have a debate. One where we can avoid the tomfoolery and stay focused on the issues. I want to hear what you can do for the Valley, not what the other guy can't do. And I encourage anyone watching this to tune in and learn what the men running for State Assembly plan to do for you. Remember, it's your Valley. It's your vote.